Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks a lot for joining our workshop here on the blues. And let me introduce you my esteemed colleague here, the guitarist Ulrich Elbracht, a good friend of mine as well. And Ulrich also teaches at Leeds College of Music with me here in England. And we've been playing countless of great jazz gigs together up and down in the UK and in Germany as well. Now, while Ulrich is here, I thought it'd be a great idea for us to give you a couple of quick demonstrations on how I build my bass lines. You know, what kind of notes I use, and what kind of basically, well, what kind of concepts you can use actually building your own bass lines. You know, so you understand it, and then once you understand these concepts and these solutions, then you can build your own. You know, instead of just copying somebody else's. So the very first thing I'd like to do is just to ask Ulrich to play us the chord progression itself for the blues, and I'm gonna do a little two notes per bar. Little bass line here, and play nothing but the root note to each chord. Okay, so you can really get the feel of how the progression moves along, and how the chords go from chord to chord within the progression. Okay, so let's just give that a try, yeah?
Okay.
Will you play those chords for us?
Be my pleasure.
That's great. Okay, so here they come very slowly. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, excellent. So in that you can hear the movement of every chord, and that's a really great place to start from, you know. And so what we'll do, we'll just add to these root notes here. So the first thing I always teach to my own students in Leeds actually is to add your thirds, add your fifth, add your seventh, add notes that are actually in the chord tones, because they are the ones that really give you the idea of what chord you're playing, you know, or what chord you're supporting with your line. Okay, so let me just do that. I'm just going to go through playing roots and thirds. Again, just with the two feel, 2 notes per bar. And so one of the notes will be the root, most likely the first note every time. And then I'm just going to go up to the third of that individual chord, and then we just go along like that. Okay, so Ulrich, if you'd like to accompany us again.
Of course.
Be great. Okay, 3, 4. Excellent, that's great. And now I'm sure that you can hear that the line is starting to get a little bit of motion, a little bit of variation going for it, because we're using not only the root note, but another chord tone as well. So let's just move along, you know, let's just go to our fifth as well. So we'll just play our roots and fifth as another solution. You know, you can choose all sorts of different solutions and different variations in your line. So we'll just go with the roots and fifth for another chorus. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, very good. Now, let me just add these two, well, actually three notes together. So let's combine them all. So we're going to play our roots, our thirds, and our fifth. And because we have three notes now to play, I'm just going to start to pick them in kind of random orders. So I don't really have, as long as I'm playing these notes, there is really nothing to confine me to one solution or one variation of these notes. So you can variate them any kind of way. So already with three notes, you will see how many different variations you can start to have. And, you know, at home, when you start to work on this kind of stuff, just write stuff down, you know, and try to figure out your own way to go about things, and you'll see how many different variations you can already get into. Okay, so again, we'll have a nice little guitar accompaniment from Ulrich, and let's just get into the roots, thirds, and fifth all together. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, just like that. But I mean, that was, like I said, I mean, that really is just one solution. That's just one chorus, and you could carry on playing tens and tens or hundreds of different choruses by using these exact notes. Okay. Now that's a really great foundation, and although we just kind of went through these in a few minutes time here, it does need a lot of practicing, a lot of kind of working with, you know, and just figuring things out and getting your own little vocabulary of these notes and varying these notes. And soon enough, I think, in my case anyways, the way it worked is that I would just sit there and try out different options and different playing, and then go and play with my friends, or go and start eventually play gigs. And the more you play, the more of these options will become kind of second nature to you to play. Okay, they'll become second nature to your ears, you know, to your hands, and so you will be able to have a lot of fun by, you know, playing just these notes, and maybe a little more as we'll discuss later. But have some real nice variety in your lines, and have some real substance in your lines as well. Okay, so I think I'm just going to add one more thing now for this video, and then we're going to carry on in another one. But we haven't actually gone to the seventh yet, and the seventh is a very, very important note, because the seventh can lead you down to the third of the next chord if you have a chord progression where you have two chords a fourth apart. So for example, from a 2 chord to the 5 chord, or if you have a 5 chord to the 1 chord, those chords are fourth apart from each other. So in those cases, you can use the seventh to third voice leading as well. And that's just before we do that with the guitar. I mean, that's the kind of thing where you have an F7 chord, and then the E flat, the seventh note of that F7 chord, can lead you down to the D, which is the third of the B flat. So would you just play that F7 for me? Yeah. And then the B flat. Yeah, just like that. Or let's say we play a G minor 7, if you play a G minor 7. To the F, to the 7th of that, and then to the C7, to the 3rd, and the root of the C7. Yeah? So let's say we play these, just an F7 B flat to a G minor to C, so I can play these 7th to 3rd voice leadings. Okay.
Yep.
So 2, 3, 4, F7 to B flat, G minor, C7. Yeah, that's it. You can hear how nicely the 7th leads you to the 3rd of to a very important note in the next chord as well, and it becomes a very melodic solution as well, not only harmonically, really, really nice and substantial solution. Okay. Now, before we leave this this section here, or this video itself, let me ask you. I mean, when you play, what is the kind of notes, or what is the kind of note choices that you will expect from the bass, that you like to hear, or that will make you comfortable playing?
Well, it's important to still get enough information about the chord sequence. So it is the root notes and the third and the fifth and the seventh, just the notes you mentioned. So it's really important that the bass player is giving me those sounds so that I can play on top of them a little bit. And of course I use the same notes, but in a slightly different way maybe. So all these notes.
And maybe you can use extensions, you know, you
of
can
course,
use your upper extensions,
yeah.
9th, flat 9th, 11th,
of course,
sharp 11th, 13th, whatever, you know, and then do different triadic stuff. And
of course, but you can only do that if the bass is there, sort of explaining the chords. So I can do some other stuff on top rather than, you know, it's really important. To have that ground there.
I think it is, man. Yeah, because if I start to play extensions and all sorts of different stuff in the lower register as well, that would just sound like a whole bunch of wrong notes, you know.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
You know, I mean, some of my younger students would actually do that. They'll try to be too clever.
Of course,
you know who you are. and it's just like I keep telling them, like, no, go back to your roots, your third, your you know, your a little bit of your scales, connect your notes with maybe a little bit of chromatic. Approach notes, guide tones, and all that, but don't do any more, because you're the bass. If you fall out of the equation,
of course,
then there is no there's no foundation anymore.
That's right, absolutely.
You know?
It's a little bit the same with the voicings I use. They're quite simple, and quite often you find people who try to be too clever again. But it's just working nicely with really simple voicings rather than having very complicated ones. I think that's certainly the way in anyway.
Yeah. I mean, having said that, I mean, we just demonstrated a couple of these, you know, real nice, simple, but very, very effective and very good solutions. So why don't we just actually play a little bit and actually show what we just said, that what I'm going to do, I'm going to play all sorts of kind of different notes and upper extensions, and I'm going to cram in as much clever stuff for me, so to speak, as I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to go back, let's say a chorus later, to play bass.
Yeah. Do you want me to play chords? Or
Yeah.
Cool.
And would you play just like one, you know, the kind of Freddie Green 4 in a bar chords?
Yeah. Sure.
So the first chorus will be I'm just going to play a lot of kind of scale notes, a lot of notes that are not necessarily the real substantial chord tones. You know, I'm going to play almost like the upper extensions, the sharp 11th, the flat 9th, the 13th, the flat 13th, whatever it is. But just check the effect of it, because it will be completely different than when I switch back to playing bass, as I'm a bass player, you know, in the second chorus. Okay, so you really hear the difference here. Okay, so let's just do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass. Yeah, I mean, it was quite, to me, it was quite evident that, you know, when you don't really play the notes that you're supposed to be playing, your line will start to sound a little bit just out of sync with the guitar, with the chords, or with what's going on around you, because they are the ones to deliver those notes, and you're the foundation. You are the one to give them the foundation upon which their notes will sound nice or sound great. You know, if you don't give that, then it will sound exactly like we just played. Not very good. To me, it wasn't very good anyways. I mean, I don't know, how did you feel?
It's just very vague.
That's it, man.
It can be described.
That's it. It is vague. It doesn't really describe what's going on. And our job as a bass player, when we play bass lines, it doesn't matter if it's whatever's, you know, it could be any kind of style, is to deliver the substance and the real description of what's going on in the harmony and the rhythm. Let me say that this is it's probably the most important lesson that I've been taught in my life from different people that I've studied with. That including the great Charlie Hayden, who just very, very sadly passed away recently. My great teacher Wayne Darling in Austria, and also I had a very, very good teacher, Arnie Eggleston in Los Angeles, and everybody would say the exact, and oh God, not to forget Potter Smith in Los Angeles as well. And all of these people are amazing, great bass players. They all said the same thing to me, exactly what I'm telling you now here. And it's the best lesson probably that you'll ever receive from anybody, from your own teacher or from online or from anywhere you can get it from, to play your substance, play your chord tones, and just a little bit around your chord tones, and you will be a great bass player and you will have work. Okay, all right, you guys, we're going to stop here and we'll see you in the next video.